Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Ray Tampa podcast. Our podcast offers bold commentary on various subject matters with a laser-like focus on the truth. My name is Ray Tampa. I'm the host of the Ray Tampa podcast. We have in our studio Mr. Russell Cato, a retired educator with more than 43 years of experience working in the Pinellas County schools, and Mr. Jamie Wilson III, a healthcare provider with more than 30 years of experience working as a physical therapist. My co-host, my dynamic co-host. Today, we're pleased to have Mr. BOYZELL HOSEY, a serious force in our community, as our guest. Mr. HOSEY is here to share information about this year's Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. parade. We're all in for a very informative and interesting conversation. Mr. HOSEY, or BOYZELL,
BOYZELL,
if you don't mind, please share with our listeners a little information about yourself, such as where were you born, raised, and educated?
Yeah, well, thank you. Well, first of all, thank you, Mr. Tampa. Can I call you Ray or Mr. Tampa?
Right.
Okay, good to
Right.
meet you, Jamie and
Russ.
and Russ.
Yes.
Yes. I'm seriously humbled when somebody says that I'm a serious force.
You are.
It's a humbling
Yeah.
experience. But we've been a part. My wife and I have been a part of the St. Petersburg community. Since 1998. So you can do the math. I'm a career photojournalist, now photo editor. I was born in Sharon, small steel mill town, Sharon, Pennsylvania, outside of Pittsburgh, PA, about 70 miles north of Pittsburgh. Yeah, both of my parents were hardworking, blue collar workers. My dad, my mom were from the South, from Hattiesburg, Mississippi, part of that great Black migration. And my dad worked 40 years in the blast furnace of the steel mills, and my mom was a head baker at the local hospital. So I grew up in that area. Upon graduating high school, I attended the Art Institute of Pittsburgh. That was in the early to mid 80s, and I earned a photography associate's degree in photography and multimedia. I freelanced for a while. I got with this great program in Pittsburgh. There's a guy named Bill Strickland. That's a name that is worthy of looking up. He had an arts organization called the Manchester Craftsmen's Guild. And back in the 80s, he raised a lot of money to build this arts facility for inner city students. And he recruited me to be his first young director of photography at age 23. And I remember at the time I had a studio photography job, and I was exhibiting pictures, doing some of their art shows at the Manchester Craftsmen's Guild. And he said that he wanted to show me something, and I was scared to death. I said I didn't know how to teach. I couldn't put together a curriculum. But he said, "You're just the person we want. We just want somebody who is young." I was young back then, who could relate to the students and just teach them what you know. And they helped me do that. So I did that for a number of years. And then as an older student in my early 30s, I went back to school. I went to Ohio University in Athens, Ohio, and got my Bachelor of Science in Visual Communication. And that changed the trajectory of my career. Whereas before, I was an all encompassing photographer. I did everything. I shot weddings, commercial photography, but then I got into journalism. So that career path, we landed our first job at a small paper in Lima, Ohio. And then in the early 90s, I landed a job in Columbia, South Carolina with the state newspaper. And then in 1998, I was fortunate enough to become a staff photographer and picture editor with the then St. Petersburg Times. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, we certainly appreciate all that information. Very interesting information.
Thank you.
I want to move to this question, if you don't mind. How did you become the new operator of the Dr. Martin Luther King parade here in St. Pete?
Yeah, it's a good story. My co-founder of the Tampa Bay Collard Green Festival, Samantha Harris, earlier this summer reached out to me and said, "Hey, um, I just found out that the city has put out an RFP to have a new organization run or administer the MLK parade." And it was short notice. I believe we had less than a week to put together a proposal. And I'm, full disclosure here, just being transparent. My first reaction, I was hesitant. I was hesitant because though the Collard Green Festival has been deemed successful, it's a large event. I was still stuck in my feelings because it's a lot of work. And I just thought about, wow, can we actually pull this off? But at the same time, once I started to think about it and talk to my co-founder a little bit, that if we were successful, if we were able to actually pull this off, then it could be a good thing for everyone. It could be a good thing for the festival. It could be a good thing for the parade as well. And another thing that got me to thinking about it too is that it's not like, as we talked earlier before the show, the festival was a seed of an idea that we grew. The parade has been established already. I mean, there are protocols, there are things in place already, and with the idea of putting together a team, even though it would be hard work, if we were able to pull this off, then perhaps we can do it. So we put a bid in, and long story short, we were awarded the contract for 3 years to run the St. Pete MLK Day Parade.
Excellent. Excellent.
Yeah.
Either of you have any questions at this point? At
Yes,
this point?
Not at this point right now.
Okay.
I do.
Go ahead.
I think I asked you before.
Yeah.
Have you ever met Seville Brown?
I have met Seville Brown, and I haven't talked to him in a while. But when I was a staff photojournalist at the paper, I would meet him, at various news events. And I remember on an independent project that I was on. Boy, I'm forgetting the name of the organization, but they were honoring, great legacy leaders in the St. Pete community. And so I was able to use the photo studio at the paper to do this portrait session. Folks like Seville was there. Doctor, the surgeon, the heart surgeon, for Bayfront. But yeah, I'm just drawing a blank. Yeah, that's really bad. But anyways, so I've spoken to Seville in the past. It has been a number of years though since I've actually spoken to him.
Okay, good. I want to ask you, have you been able to put together your team to help organize and support the parade? Have you gotten your team together?
Yeah, we're rolling. We have a good team together.
Good.
So full disclosure, like this effort, is being spearheaded by my co-founder Samantha Harris. About 3 or 4 years ago, we reversed roles because I'm still working full time, and so with my job now, I knew I just didn't have the time to devote full time and at the rate at which the festival, was growing. So she is the president and the leader. I'm vice president of the organization. But to answer your point, yeah, we do have a team. We have a core team now of like 6 people. And then we have some community collaborators. And, we've had other collaborators, to help us at the beginning as well. And we're learning, as we go.
Well, if most people are like me, we have all the confidence in the world that you're going to be a huge success in pulling this parade off.
I thank you for that.
You've demonstrated your skill set already.
Well, thank you for that. We appreciate your support.
Okay, next question. Actually, I don't want to ask a question at this point. I want you to talk to us. Tell us what you have already planned for the parade.
Yeah. Well, I think overall, when you and I spoke recently about the format of the show, you asked me to think about 3 goals for the parade.
Okay.
And I know one, first of all, for especially, for the year coming up, we just want to execute this parade really well. We want it to be efficient. We want it to be something that the community is proud of. Um, we'd love it to start on time if that's possible, and to try to reduce as many disruptions as possible. There's going to be disruption. I mean, it's a live event, so that's the number one thing that we want to do. And we've had to actually cut back on some of the traditional things that the community is used to, such as the Battle of the Bands, right? Because of the short runway, I believe it's better to do, fewer things well than many things mediocre. And so that's what we're doing this year. We want to execute it well. We also want to honor the legacy of the parade and the founders of the parade. And that starts with Seville Brown, the original founder, which I believe 1986 was when the official holiday started. It wasn't called the St. Pete MLK Day Parade back then. It had a national name, but it grew into, it is the longest running MLK parade in the country, approaching 40 years. And at one time was the largest. Now, I believe Houston or San Antonio may have overtaken that as far as like the biggest parade. But we want to build upon that, because this isn't a takeover. I see this more as stewardship, right? And so we want to take the best of what, the early founders brought to the table, Seville and his group. And then in 2017, I believe, is when Advanced Village Academy and Toriano Parker and his team had it for about 9 or 10 years. Do my math, about 9 years. And we want to take the best of how they evolved the parade and build upon that, and try to get this thing to a place where we are setting it up for the next generation to put their spin on it and take it from there. So those are 3 goals. We want to execute well, we want to honor legacy, and we want to inspire the community to reimagine how the parade looks in the future.
Awesome. Jay, you got something?
I do have a question. What has been your biggest obstacle in putting this together?
I think that the biggest obstacle right now is time, because it's a short runway. We were awarded the contract in August, and we didn't get started in earnest until September. And this is an event, much like the festival, it really does take year-round planning. So it has been an all-out sprint, to try to get this across the finish line. And with that, communication becomes a challenge, right? This is our first time, putting this together, and we've had help. We've had great support from the city. I mean, they have actually been meeting with us regularly, offering their support and guidance. And we have a lot of community support, much like yourselves, that say, hey, what can we do to help in this? But in my opinion, everything looks good on paper. But when you start to execute in reality, that's the hard part, right? Because, things happen and people have different ideas, and, we have to set structures in place. And so I think that's been the hardest thing. The idea part, that's easy. Ideas all day, but it's the timing and the communication and pretty much learning, on the fly, to get this thing done.
Well, you're going to have tons and tons of support in the community. That's just a fact. But then again, you're going to have those that are going to be critical of some of the aspects of the parade.
Yeah.
But they just need to be made aware of how things developed.
Right.
You didn't come in with a whole lot of time.
Right.
You didn't come in with 6 months, 7 months to get it done.
Right.
But I've already addressed those concerns with some people.
Thank you.
And I told them, no,
Thank you.
It's going to succeed.
Well, we feel that support from the community. Like, no matter where, I go, folks are reaching out I was at the St. Pete Youth Farm for the opening night of Kwanzaa. Was that Friday? Yeah, Friday night. And countless folks just, hey, how can we help? We're excited about it. And I'm aware of the criticism as well. And, my philosophy is I think the best way to address that is with the results. I don't think it really does a whole lot to get into a back and forth in the community because it's distracting. Right. And so I just think that, let the results speak for itself and then go from there.
The person that I did address it with, I don't think she wanted to go back and forth. It was just an acknowledgement of the time frame, as you mentioned, where it was stated that around this time last year, maybe 50 bands, organizations, groups, whatever, had signed up.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas this year, the number is significantly less.
Yeah. That's a fact.
That's
You're hiding from that. There's no hiding from
Yeah.
that. That's just the truth. And our goal, not to cut you off, but our goal this year that we have with the city is that if we can get 100 participants, this year, that would be good. And just make sure that the bands and the entertainment and the community is well represented.
We need to offer support. Russ,
I noticed that the theme, I don't know whether you selected or to whomever selected, was called The Power of the Dream.
Mhm.
That's your theme.
This is our theme.
My concern about all of that, and I'm a strong fan of DEI, and DEI has been pushed back considerably from the top to
Yep.
local government. And you mentioned your team, the team that you have.
Right.
And companion in reference to Dr. King, is your team DEI?
Well, let's see. I believe in DEI, diversity,
Sure.
equity, and inclusion.
Sure.
I mean, just being transparent. The Collard Green Festival organization is a Black run organization. All right. So we make an effort to reach across the aisle, to represent diversity, equity, and inclusion. So it's sort of like in reverse in a sense, right? The things that they're trying to take away from us because they think that, they want to force organizations to get away from including us in the planning. We don't really have that problem because we're the creators of this event. But we are cognizant of the fact that, this parade is for the entire community. It's for all of St. Petersburg, Black, white, Hispanic, whatever. Yeah.
why don't you talk to us about your starting point, ending point of the parade, and the starting time
Yes.
and ending time for the parade?
Okay.
Just give us some general information.
Yes. So we start on 3rd Street at First Avenue South. So the route is the length of First Avenue South from 3rd Street to 16th Street South. When we head south on 16th Street to end the parade, right along where Tropicana Field is. We start at 11 a.m. And I think by most accounts, the parade usually lasts about 3 hours. I'm hoping that we can keep it to 3 hours. And, I'm told that, be prepared for the last minute challenges, participants not showing up on time and interrupting the parade route. Those are things that, we've been told that we need to be prepared to do.
You have taken on a very, very successful parade. It's been very successful.
Yeah.
More successful at times. And when I speak of more successful, I remember where one of the major TV stations in our area broadcast the parade from start to finish. It might have been Channel 10.
Yeah.
Do you see yourself getting the TV stations involved like they were when Seville was around?
We would like to. I mean, it's not going to happen for 2026.
Yeah.
But we would like to, get that that established again. But as you know, the media landscape has changed tremendously from, yeah, well, not only do you have that, taking into account social media. And so, for example, you've got organizations now that can broadcast themselves, really. If you're talking about streaming in our own social media platform and, looking at the audience of, say, traditional broadcast, is that a route that we should go? It could be. It could be maybe a cable partner with Spectrum or something like that. But we want to try to take advantage of all those platforms, So I think the point is, how can we amplify the parade on those platforms? So whether it be broadcast or our own streaming efforts, through social media, we would like to, to bring that back in some form.
Well, BOYZELL, and I'm gonna make this statement and then let my co-hosts say what they want to say. My feeling is, based on your professional connections, your professional reputation, your demeanor, your accomplishments, you're going to be able to reach into the media because you're already in the media. You're going to be able to reach further into the media and bring out more support. I feel that. You're going to be able to reach into the corporate world and get more support, maybe a whole lot more money to support your organization. I'm hoping my suspicions are true. So either of you?
Yeah, basically kind of new at it. So, but you have experience, and it's just about forging relationships. And you'll be able to do that through the process. The community loves it. You know what I mean? Right. And you're going to bring your own perspective to it, which probably be something new and exciting. So you just wait to see. But I just know it's going to be successful.
Oh yeah.
Thank you, Jamie. Appreciate that so much. Yeah.
And we're going to do our part.
All right.
We're going to do our part. Don, Don is not on the show. I suspect Don is going to try to get involved with his radio station.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. He indicated the station will
definitely be involved. And
one thing I like to that you guys can expound on it, the local participation. Do we know the local participation? What schools? What local groups? What youth groups locally that will be participating? I'm a community person. So to the community is totally involved.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I want to ask you this is, and I've already indicated it, if what you have done with the Collard Green Festival is any indication, the parade will be a big hit like never before. The fact that you're sitting here with us today, you've already hit a home run.
Thanks.
This is a home run.
Thank you.
And we're going to support you.
Thank you so much.
In every way we can.
Thank you.
Like I mentioned, Don invited me to come, and I broadcast the parade 2 or 3 years ago from start to finish. I announced the bands. I announced the different organizations that were in the parade, individuals that were in the parade. And they really felt good about that, because their names were mentioned over the radio, but their names were also mentioned over the loudspeaker that was available out there. And a lot of people offered very strong, positive comments about the role we played in that parade.
Yeah. Well, we definitely want that. We appreciate that, that support. It means everything. The whole part about community, this is for the community. Even when we started the festival, it was about the community. It wasn't about like making money. It was about, how can we inspire the community to live healthier through the foods that we love to grow and eat. And so taking that, concept to that, so getting folks involved, they can go to our website, St. Pete, MLK Parade.com. We need volunteers. We're encouraging organizations to volunteer. to register their organizations as a group and make it a team effort. Volunteerism, we do have folks signing up.
I think what I look at in this case is called reinforcing. When I look at MLK and look at Dr. King and the young generation that's coming up, because I'm in 18, the concern of what this man meant to this country, it's got to continue to be reinforced. And when you're talking about King, you're talking about equality and freedom. Those two things got to be reinforced. See,
I do. Yeah.
you got to do it.
Yeah.
So if you weren't there and this thing drop out, that would scare the hell out of me. Because there's no one to reinforce this. It got to be reinforced. I appreciate you.
That's a lot of pressure, Russell, but I appreciate that. I really do appreciate it. I agree. I don't think one single event can do that.
No.
We have to reinforce those lessons and that history to our youth. Being a participant in the parade from the festival, it has been sometimes disheartening when you see some of the things that are happening on the back end. You're not going to bring anybody down, but some of those things, they don't represent excellence from a forward-facing standpoint. I mean, some of those things are good for your backyard barbecue, right? Yeah, and so we definitely need to do our part, and we need to engage the youth, to figure out, how do you think about this? How do you see excellence in that? Right.
Martin Luther King, he just can't be like a street sign or a holiday.
No.
You gotta go deeper.
You gotta go deeper.
Educate these kids.
Yes.
Being taken away.
Right. And that's what we hope to do next year when we have a full year. That's when we're going to start to see some of the greater ideas come to the table.
Well, I bet you got it.
Thank you.
We're all excited about that. Excellent. If I had to give the city a positive check mark, it's identifying BOYZELL and Samantha as the operators of the parade. A positive check mark.
Wow.
And we're looking forward to it. We're going to enjoy it. Name the two bands that are going to be there from the HBUs.
HBCUs. We have Tuskegee coming, and we have Alabama A&M.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and we're working on Florida Memorial. We're not quite sure if we'll be able to pull that off. That'd be nice to have a Florida HBCU in the mix, and we've got a bunch of local bands in there in there as well. But Tuskegee and Alabama A&M are our marquee bands, and we really would like to get FAMU. I'm just going to say it out there. We did try to get them; it just didn't work out this year. But we would like to have FAMU back in this parade.
Excellent. Well, with the two you just named and the one that you're hoping to get, that'll work out just fine.
Good.
That'll work out just fine. People are going to be entertained.
Yeah.
And that's what that's about.
Yes.
Being entertained. I've seen, like I said, several parades. I participated when I was president of the NAACP.
Right.
I was in that particular parade. And I've witnessed quite a few others. I'm really looking forward to this one.
I appreciate that so
really
much.
Looking forward to this one.
So much.
I bet you hear.
Yes.
Well, listen, any advice you have for us, I'm open. I don't mind accolades, but I'm better off with critical feedback.
Exactly.
Give me honest, critical feedback. I think that's the way, we get better,
Excellent. Anything else you want to say to us about your parade?
Just remember,
your parade.
No, it's not my parade. It's the community's parade. But just for information, just go to our website, MLK, St. Pete, MLKparade.com.
Excellent. Yeah. All right. You all heard it here on 99.1 FM, The Bird. Mr. BOYZELL HOSEY and his co-founder, Samantha Harris, are poised to pull it off. Yes, they will pull it off. We have confidence that they're going to do just that. I want to take this opportunity to say this is our last broadcast for 2025. And we're really pleased to have had a superstar in the studio with us. But as we prepare for 2026, we know it's all going to be good. We wish each and every one of you Happy New Year, prosperous New Year, healthy New Year, all from the team here at the Ray Tampa Podcast. And we want to remind you, please, 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 call the supervisor of elections office and request your mail-in ballots. We need you to do that. We need you to do that. And with all that being said, good evening.